Good evening and welcome to Information Please, your Peoria Public Library on the air, bringing you information about your library and your community. This evening I'm going to welcome back Nena Burbank, who's one of our children's librarians and does a fabulous job finding out what books are new out there and what books are coming. And today we're going to talk about books for teens. Teens are hard to catch a hold of with keeping them on reading. They're either bookworms or you can't tie them down to a book. But these are some that are sure to tempt anybody. Hi, Nena.
Hi. Well, I'm going to say I'm walking a little bit out of my comfort zone because mostly I'm like kid-centric, and now I'm going to go with teens. But I do have a helper on this one, so.
Yeah, okay. And are some of these YA books too? Because
these are all YA ones.
Okay, because a lot of adults like them too.
That's true, and we have had a lot of adults, dive into the YA area.
Yeah.
So they may find it something that they like here. I was looking through and going, these sound really good, especially some of the upcoming, which I hope we'll be able to get to. I wanted to start with a couple of kind of fantasy ones. The first one I want to talk
Always
about.
a favorite.
Yes, Court of Thorns and Roses is, the author is Sarah J. Mace, and she did the Throne of Glass series, if anybody had gotten into that one. But this is kind of a mashup. This is a mashup of Beauty and the Beast and Tamlin.
Oh, all right.
Super strong on romance. So if you're into romance, this is the one. So we start out with this 19-year-old huntress named Fairy who kills a wolf in the woods and gets in trouble because this beast-like creature comes and drags her off to this magical land that she's heard of from legends, and then it turns out to be Tamlin. So here we have the Tamlin kind of thing going. And so she starts, falling in love with Tamlin, but she needs to get out of this world, and, how they're going to solve all this thing, So we got this whole thing going. So romance, fantasy, fairy tales retold, we got it all in this book.
Great.
The second one is The Heart of Betrayal. And this is a sequel to Kiss of Deception. If anybody has been waiting for this, it's here.
Has this been a long wait?
I don't know that it's been a huge long wait, but anytime you finish a book and want the
next one,
it's always long. Mm-hmm. This is part of the Remnant Chronicles. Now this one actually is still a lead-in to a next one because it has a cliffhanger ending.
Oh, all right.
And I'm going to warn people about that right now.
Is this the middle of a trilogy?
It could be the middle of a trilogy. It could be a continuation of a series. Don't know yet.
Okay.
From what I understand, very heart-pounding, excitement. We also have romance, though not as much as in the first book, but we still have the romance going. We have Princess Leia being held captive in the Kingdom of Vinda. There she meets this Rafe that she didn't like before, but now he's looking better to her. Yeah. So we have her being held as the savior of the city and all that pressure and what am I going to do and how are we going to escape and how are we going to save everybody and, a lot of pressure going with stress. So, but, you have to have romance too.
Yes, always got to have romance. We'll tie it together.
Yes. So we have a couple of really fun ones for those people who are into romance, into fantasy. Mm-hmm. So, and also we're waiting for that sequel, which I know. Yeah. Crimson Bound is by Rosamund Hodge, and she's the author of the Cruel Beauty universe, but this is not part of that. I just want to make that clear. It's about a young girl who's apprenticed to her aunt. She's in training to protect her village from dark magic. Oh. And she's usually pretty good, but in this case she's reckless, and she makes a mistake that's kind of a bad mistake and causes a lot of problems. And she's becomes one of the king's assassins. And she is ordered to guard his son, who she despises, of course.
Of course.
And how she uses him to find a sword that maybe can save the world, and, the usual quest. Romance.
Yeah, quest and So this is a standalone. This one's not.
Yeah, for right now, we don't know if it's going to be a series. It probably will because she has a history of series.
Okay, all right.
But I'd like to read what School Library Journal says.
Okay.
Hodge has created a chilled cocktail of creep and gore, shaken, stirred lightly, and poured over villains who fall in love and heroines who commit murder.
Oh, all right. There you go.
I mean, what a great description.
Now, are these books out yet? Or?
Yes, these particular ones are out. They're came out this summer.
Okay.
There might be some toward the end that I have just about to come out.
Yeah,
so,
some we don't quite know what date they're actually going to hit.
Right. Yeah, and they may hit us later than they actually come out. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Shadow Shaper, interesting concept. This is by an author who has done adult books and is now, of course, venturing into the more young adults area.
We've got some of that going on.
There's a lot of that going on. I actually have another one like that. He has done the Bone Street Rumba novels, if anybody's familiar with that. I'm not, but this is about a girl who realizes that her family is shapeshifters.
Oh boy.
Yeah, nobody told her. I had to find out on her own. So she finds herself in a battle with, of all things, an evil anthropologist.
Oh no.
Yeah, considering what was going to happen next summer.
Yeah. Well, and anthropologists usually are the good guys.
I know,
like
Indiana Jones
or
right,
whatever.
Right. So this is an evil one that she has to battle. So this might be an interesting one. We'll see how it goes, if he's going to go any further with her as a standalone. The next trio is not fantasy. We're getting back in the real world here for a little bit.
Yeah.
Sarah Dessen has done a lot of books.
Okay.
She has made a name for herself in young adult. She's done Just Listen, Someone Like You, The Truth About Forever, and I think adults have really got into her too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I think oftentimes adults like YA books because maybe they're a little shorter read. They don't have as much blatant sex and violence in them as some of the adult novels, and so they may be for very busy adults or adults who just have had enough of that are a good solution because the plots are very adult. Oh, and complicated. It's just a little bit less.
Yeah, this one, Saint Anything, is I think the title refers to the main character's brother, who was the focus of the family's attention. He was the golden kid, right?
Yeah, the one who can do nothing wrong, on whom all hopes are pinned.
Right, and she's the one who's invisible.
Okay.
But he gets in trouble with the law.
Oh, all right.
And he seems to be bent on self-destruction. He has got into a drunk driving accident that's crippled a young boy, and he's in jail. And now she's on her own, and she's questioning everything. If her brother can get into trouble, what can happen to me, kind of thing. And she meets the Chatham family, and she's drawn into their circle. And their family has troubles too. They have some people who are troubled in their family, but they're dealing with it in a different way than her family. Her family is like separating. It's like it's pulling her family apart. Whereas with this family, they're like drawing together, giving each other strength, working it through. And so she's seeing an example of another kind of family, and she likes it.
Yeah.
And of course, there's always the romance angle because there's a young man named Max. He's the older brother, and she feels really comfortable with him, and he actually is very nice to her and is like paying attention to her. So she's kind of feeling not invisible for the first time.
Yeah.
So
like somebody can see me.
And so I think we're going to have a little bit of romance with these two, or just a really good friendship at least. So she's kind of learning that there's other ways that families can deal with each other. So that's kind of
Which is good when you think about teens, especially the younger teens that haven't had that much life experience and maybe need to see a little bit more of the world. This, reading is a painless way to do that.
Right, and this gives you an idea of it's not always the same.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's kind of a nice one. The Good Girls, this is by Sarah Shepard, and I think people mostly know her by Pretty Little Liars.
Okay.
She does that series, and I think
right.
almost everyone's heard of that series.
Yeah.
This is, I don't know if she's going to do this as a series or it's just going to be a standalone, but it's about 5 girls, and of course they're, as usual, not nice girls.
Yeah. Mean girls.
This is I love this, is understand, have done some not so perfect things. So they talked about killing somebody, but they didn't actually go through with it. it's all talk with them. It's just a coincidence that he died exactly as they had planned for him to die, though, right? Except he wasn't the only one they fantasized about killing, and that person dies too.
Uh-oh.
So what's going on? You know, why are we being framed? What's happening? Are we the killer's next targets? Is he after us and he's just doing this? You know, it's all these questions about what's going on.
Yeah.
Why is this happening?
Yeah.
So the same kind of premise she uses in Pretty Little Liars with things happening, and you know, they're bad girls, but they're not that bad.
Yeah, they have bad thoughts, but maybe haven't carried things out. But
Right, yeah. But somebody's helping them.
yeah, the power of thought.
Yeah. So things we know by heart is kind of an unusual concept. I think it's been in books before, but it's kind of an interesting concept. It's about a young girl whose boyfriend dies in an accident, and his organs are donated to different people. And as a way to heal herself, she thinks, she wants to find out and meet all the people that his organs were donated to. So she starts tracking them all down and finding it. But the most important one, she thinks, is the heart. She wants to know where his heart went, because she feels like if she knows where his heart is, she still has a piece of him. But she can't find the person. That person's not coming forward. She can't find him. She finally does track him down and, you know, starts to feel like they're connected. He doesn't know that this was
Where the heart came from.
Right. And but she starts falling in love with him, even though she doesn't mean to, and she doesn't know what's going to happen with him once he finds out that she kept this back.
Okay.
So it's kind of like everyone I've said this plot to has said it's like that movie Return to Me with
okay.
with what's her name, Minnie, yeah, it's Minnie, and David. I can't think of something. Anyway.
Let's look that up on Independent Movie Database when we get back to work.
Anyway, it's all about somebody who has received the heart. The person who received the heart knows that she has somebody's heart, you know, his wife's heart, but you know, that whole thing. But this is kind of like the reverse of it. And so it's kind of an intriguing premise. And I think, you know, if you like, you know, a sort of tragic kind of romance thing, I think you can really get into that. Because it's all about healing and, you know.
Yeah, healing, getting past emotional and physical
Right. So
wounds.
I think, you know, and I've had kids that have come in and wanted that kind of book. So just because they enjoy a good cry.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So there you are. Going back to kind of the, not really fantasy so much as kind of like fantastic or science fiction kind of things here.
Okay.
Ingen Bone is by Rachel Kane, which some people may know or not. She's the author of the Morganville Vampires, a series. I don't know if this is going to be a series either. Well, yeah, no, actually, I think it is going to be a series. Okay. She's rewriting history, and this is why it's so intriguing. Her rewrite of history is that she creates a dangerous world where the great library of Alexandria survived.
Oh, all right.
And what's happened is that it is the most powerful entity in the world.
Okay. The Great Library of Alexandria.
Is that they have a presence in every major city. They are governing the flow of information to the masses. So we're talking about, they have all the info, and you have to ask them if you want it.
Yeah.
So then we have this guy who comes in here, Jess Brightwell. He believes in the value of the library, and he's going to become, you know, a librarian. But then he starts figuring out that it's not as good as it looks. People cannot have books. Books are illegal. You can only get your information from the library. So we're talking about a whole kind of...
Evil librarians.
Yes, evil librarians or evil library, I don't know. So, you know, he realizes that the library believes that knowledge is more valuable than any human life. So heretics and books are going to burn. Something's going to happen here.
Something's going to happen.
So, you know, we got a power struggle going on. People wanting the knowledge, this place controlling the knowledge. So instead of an evil government, we have the library. So kind of an intriguing premise. I don't think anyone's worked that one out yet.
The
So,
library is as evil as different.
Usually we're the good guys. Kind of like the anthropologists.
Yes.
Silver in the Blood by Jessica Day George is, and I have actually read some of her stuff, and it's good. She's the author of the 12 Dancing Princesses series for young adults, and she also has done Castle Glower series for grade schoolers.
Okay.
This is a new one. This is Daisha and Lou are society girls from New York in the 1890s.
Okay.
So, you know, they never desired to learn any more about their heritage, but here it comes at them.
Yeah.
They are from a mysterious Romanian family.
Ah, all right.
And here we go, you know.
With the
Right, and so they have to go home when they turn 17. They have to go home and meet all their relatives and
in Romania.
right, find proper husbands and learn the terrible family secrets.
Yeah. Well, silver in the blood sounds like, is it werewolves? You have
we're
to kill
we're talking shapeshifters.
Werewolves, yeah. That sounds like silver bullets.
Right, we're talking prophecy. We're talking about cruel inheritance.
I might want to read that one.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be very, you know, out there. So I think people are really you can really get into that one. So yeah, and she's a good writer. I have read her stuff, and she really gets into characterizations, and so there's a lot of interest going on in there. School Library Journal said, proper debutantes and snarling wolves, a winning combination for most libraries. So yeah, it's
well, the you know, the 1890s, the Gilded Age, of course, has, you know, spectacular clothes, spectacular. I mean, that was before the income tax, and people had the time and the money to be debutantes, and then to plunge that all into the realm of the spooky old Romanians.
I know. Yeah, it's an interesting combination. The other one, Alive, which I know has been used as a title for a book before, but this one's a little different. This is the first book of a new trilogy called Generations. Okay. And this particular author, Scott Sigler, has done adult series called Infected.
Okay.
So this one is about a young woman who wakes up in an enclosed place and tries to figure out what's going on. So I'm going to read you the first bit here.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
It says, I open my eyes to darkness, total darkness. I hear my own breathing, but nothing else. I lift my head. It thumps against something solid and unmoving. There's a board right in front of my face. No, not a board, a lid.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so this
Buried
is how
alive.
Yeah, this is how it starts. She has to fight her way out of this box, and she's in a corridor, and it leads to there's others in this corridor, in this room in the corridor, and it's about a war that's happened, and they're survivors and how they have to deal and what has happened.
Okay.
So we've got an intriguing premise, and we're going to see, you know, what had happened, what happened, how are they going to deal, how are they going to survive, yeah. So, you know, we've got some really good stuff. That might be a good one for people, too, who want to have, like, a little bit of science fiction that kind of might be hooked on now. And
Are dystopian novels out of fashion now? For a while, we were
they were really
buried in the dystopian
They've scaled
worlds.
back a little bit, I think, but they're still there, and I think there's always going to be a presence for them because people, you know, especially teens and some adults, really like them.
Yeah.
They like to feel like, you know, here's this bad thing, but here I am.
Yeah, live in a good world.
Yes. Ruthless is, I think, and I cannot remember, there is an adult novel that just came out that has kind of the same premise as this one. It's about a girl who is kidnapped, held captive by a person who, of course, is not right. And he wants to punish, as he said, bad girls like her.
Oh.
And he's already killed 2 girls before her. This is what she finds out. And it's she's always been called bad, you know, has an attitude, not nice kind of thing. But back home it says they always called her ruthless. But they had no idea how right they were, because she's going to do everything she can to get out of this situation. She doesn't care.
You can't stop her.
Right. So she's ambitious, she's tough, she's mean, but she's got to deal with the situation, and she's up to it.
All right.
So we're going to see how, you know, we want to know what
goes.
happens. So if you want the psychological thriller, this
That's
is it. This is it. This is the one. And Deceptive is a sequel to Elusive. And it is about a world where an experimental vaccine has granted superpowers as well as terrible side effects to certain people. And this is about 3 teens who risk everything to expose a collaboration between the government and superpowered criminals.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not sure if it's like super serious or whether there's, because I was reading a little bit about it and I was like, it seems like it's serious, but it has that kind of little
Comic book sort of
yeah,
style to it.
yeah. I kind of got that feeling. So I haven't had a chance to read it because it's kind of new. So,
Yeah.
it might be just that. It might be we have the superhero, but superheroes that were given that power by vaccine. So,
All right. Okay.
So, yeah.
Might be a good one for those who enjoy the superhero movies and.
Yeah, right, right. The Accident Season, this is a first novel for Maura Fowley Doyle. And this is about 17-year-old Kara, whose family, for as long as she can remember, have an accident season. Toward the end of October, her relatives started having accidents that kill them.
Oh dear.
Yes, and so her family, they don't know why they become accident prone. They start, locking up the knives, covering the sharp table edges, switching off the electrical items, unplugging them.
Not getting near the stairs.
Right. Yes, they try to be as careful as they can because they keep having accidents that kill them. So I'm not sure where that premise is going to go. Are they cursed? How can they break free? So it's kind of that whole thing of what's going to happen. Can they get out of this situation?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think I've read anything like this before. It's a whole new premise.
Yeah, that is an original idea.
Yeah. So the other one, Another Day, is the companion to Every Day, which came out, I don't know if it was this year or last year. This is by the author, David Leviathan, who wrote Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist and Boy Meets Boy.
Oh, okay.
So most people are familiar with his work.
Yeah.
The first one, Every Day, was told from the young boy whose body got switched with another one,
Okay.
and how he lives another person's life for a day.
Okay.
So that was Every Day. This is Another Day, and this is told from the girlfriend of the boy whose body he got flipped into.
Okay.
So she's going along. She's accepted that her boyfriend is temperamental, that he's distant, that he doesn't really pay that much attention to her. I don't know why. That this is the way it's going to be until the morning that everything changes, and that's when they have the body flip. And she gets a boyfriend that pays attention to her, that's kind to her, that is not like he ever was before.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And I want that guy back.
Okay.
So this is her side of that story that was told in the first book.
It's not a sequel or prequel, it's a side by side.
It's just
the
a
same
companion.
story
Yeah,
told
it's
from
the
a
flip.
different point of view.
So kind of intriguing. So if you haven't read Every Day, go and read that one and then read Another Day.
Yeah, and I know that at one point I've not read any books like that, but I know at one point the author of Twilight was doing a companion and then stopped because of the whole plot had been leaked or something. I don't know. But
I think there was a bit controversy.
But yeah,
over that.
an interesting idea. You almost wonder why they don't do it as one book, but
Well,
maybe
then
the
they get
thought
two
comes
books out of
later.
it.
Yeah, 2 books out of one idea. Yes.
So those are the ones that came out this summer.
Okay.
And I don't know if we have every single one of them out yet, but they're coming.
Yeah, if
So
they're
watch for
not
them.
on the shelves, they will be soon.
They'll be coming. So
And I don't know for sure, but I suspect our YA book club may be reading some of these. If there's adults that enjoy that, the YA book club meets once a month and reads YA books and talks about them. So you have to keep an eye on what they choose if you're really into YA books. Even if you don't go to the meetings, it's a good place to look for a list, because that group's all people in their 30s.
enjoying good books no matter what.
They enjoy the good books. Yeah, they do.
So it really doesn't matter. It could be a little kid book and you can still enjoy it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it has nothing to do with it. Okay, so I have a few. We'll see how many I can fit in here.
Okay.
Of things that are coming out in September and October.
Great. Okay.
So, the author of Girl of Fire and Thorn series, Ray Carson, has come out with a new series. It's a trilogy called the Gold Seer Trilogy. And this particular one is called Walk on Earth, a Stranger, which is an intriguing title in and of itself, I think. It's about a young woman with the magical ability to sense the presence of gold.
Oh, all right.
So this is in gold rush era, America.
Mm-hmm.
So she has to flee her home because somebody wants to make use of her. And she runs all the way to where there's gold, the gold rush.
The gold fields.
Yes, the gold fields, because she thinks she can hide in California in the gold fields. And maybe, no one will find her. And it's just about her survival there and trying to escape from this person, about safety and what do you do when you can sense gold? Do you take advantage of that? What do you do? You know?
Yeah.
So it's a very intriguing they say it's a really strong, she's a really strong heroine. You've got the whole journey for the book to get there. You've got plot twists, you've got a little bit of romance. So there's like a lot of fun things going on in this book. Cool. And if you enjoyed her other series, I think you can
enjoy that one too.
Yeah, I think you will enjoy this one too. And that one is coming out the 22nd of September. So
okay. Mark your calendars. Yeah.
The other one is a debut novel. Her name is Nicola Yoon. This is called Everything, Everything. And it's another very strange kind of idea. We have romance and allergies.
Oh, well, allergies. I'm all about that.
This is a novel about a girl who is literally allergic to the outside world.
Oh, no.
So she's basically a bubble girl.
Yeah. Has to live in a bubble.
Right. Her mother is a doctor, and she's just set up this house so that, it's sealed.
She can exist in it.
So she can exist in it. And she's kind of basically, kind of said,
Captured.
okay, that's fine. Yeah. I'm good with this, because she really hasn't known anything else.
Yeah.
So
what day is that one coming out?
That's September 1st.
All right. So that one's right around the corner. Well, Nena, thank you so much for joining us. And of course, anybody who wants tips on books for teens or kids, stop and ask our librarians or email us, and they'll even email you back a list. Got all kinds of great resources on our website. See you next week on Information Please.